All right, hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the United States on World War II and the Cold War. And the presentation is, of course, made by me. And yeah, let's begin. So basically, World War II and the Cold War on the United States. Basically, we're going to be talking about global power, technology, and freedom. So, the topic is mainly how did the U.S.'s role in global affairs change World War II to the early Cold War days. So we're gonna be talking around like near the end of World War II and how that impacted everything to like around the beginning days of World War II. So like as the title says over here. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about how World War II made a U.S. A global power, a superpower, matter of fact. How the World War II affected technology and how it changed the war too. And then we're going to be talking about how the Cold War created a fear in nuclear weapons. And that's going to be something cool to talk about. And then ideas about freedom that became more complicated. So how people were like talking and how like it's basically freedom of people's rights and everything around that time, how the war impacted everything, and then like around during the Cold War too. So, will World War II change? My bad. World War II changed the USA from trying to avoid outside wars into a major global power. So basically, before World War II, the United States was cautious about joining another global conflict because of World War One already. Everybody was scared, right? There was a lot of chaos going on. But then, right around 1941, the United States was already supporting allies through a thingy called a Lend-Lease and becoming an arsenal of the democracy. After around all of that, Pearl Harbor happens, which we'll talk about in a second. The U.S. Fully enters the war, and then that changed America's role because it became a global power, also a military power, also a economic power, and what else? Technological power too. So it just became like it just one upped itself. It just became like super crazy, super crazy. Anyway, yeah, how Pearl Harbor changed things. So the attack was a very oops, my bad. The attack was a very big turning point in the U.S. history because the Pearl Harbor, which is this right here, right? The ship sunk. The Japanese something happened like that. Um, that happened, and then America had been pursuing a course in its foreign policy of avoiding involvement in another war. So basically, yeah, they did not want to get into a war, as before I stated. And then, yeah, this happens, and the war really went crazy. And then the following attack on Pearl Harbor, the people of America really wanted to get into war and to get payback, really. And yeah, there's nothing else much to say because people were scared in World War One, right? And then immediately after World War Two, or the Pearl Harbor happens, it made everyone mad as hell, and because of that, yeah, we joined World War Two, or like right around the end of it, technically, and yeah, and now we're gonna talk about how World War Two impacted warfare tech. So basically, we got this guy over here. If I remember, his name is Charles Drew. We'll talk about him in a second, but yeah, anyways, technology played a big role in the United States, especially in World War II, because it made a use of aviation, basically flying cars, bombing, the things that go boom, naval warfare. Imagine cars but on water, and they got guns on them. uh, and also code breaking technology, basically encryption. So I guess we can use this person as an example. Is there like encrypting stuff and stuff like that to against spies? Like for example, you want to send a private message, people encrypt it or something, make it a special way, and then after that, yeah, it gets to the other person without any spies getting to know your information. And also another big thing, which we'll be talking about, Charles Drew, medicine. That was a big turning point in World War II because what is it called? Charles Drew was a big part in setting up blood banks that saved a lot of lives, and he's impact is still impacting everyone to this day. Um, the most important technological advancement was okay. Now let's talk about something else. The biggest technological advancement compared to all of these things was the nuclear bomb. I use this image right here, Oppenheimer, because I really did enjoy the movie, and it really explained every event pretty well. Well, the majority of the events, and yeah. So the nukes were dropped. that pushed Japan to surrender in 1945 August, basically. So this guy created the nukes. Not exactly this guy, but like this is the character who played Oppenheimer. But Oppenheimer created the nukes. Fat Man and Little Guy, or Little Man, or something like that. And yeah, so basically, also actually, let me tell you something interesting. Cool fact: the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. If I remember, Hiroshima dropped first on the 6th of August, and then Nagasaki happened in August 9, if I remember. And yeah, crazily enough, I was born right in between on the month. So I was born August 8th. So that's just a cool fact about me. But anyways, back to the topic. That those two bombings on Hiroshima and Nagasaki practically immediately made Japan surrender during the war because yeah, it was just killed a bunch of people, unfortunately, and yeah, that caused the Japan to immediately surrender. And yeah, anyways, now let's talk about the freedom in the U.S. So basically, freedom was regarded a lot during World War II and the Cold War, but it was not really shared by everyone equally, though. That's the one weird thing. So in World War II, even though the U.S. fought for freedom against the fascists, for African American soldiers, although all of that, they were still subject, African American soldiers were still subject to racial segregation, and also Japanese Americans were placed in internment camps, right? These camps right here in the photo that you're looking at. um and yeah, during the Cold War, despite its claims of fighting on behalf of freedom against communism, fear caused McCarthyism, also blacklisting, loyalty probes, and stuff like that. But yeah, so with everything as we can see right here, overall, this kind of shows that the U.S. Prided itself on freedom at the end of the day. But yeah, the U.S. really did pride itself on freedom, but really, at the end of the day, not really all citizens enjoyed their freedom with that. But other than that, that's practically my slideshow this time. No really crazy ending today, Professor. But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone.